Stop scrolling for a second, because what's happening right now between Saudi Arabia and China could quietly change the entire defense map of the Middle East. We're talking about a partnership that's moving faster than anyone expected: drones in the sky, naval drills in the sea, and a new balance of power taking shape right under everyone's radar. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're uncovering one of the most fascinating shifts in global defense strategy. While most eyes stay on Washington, something major is brewing between Riyadh and Beijing. In recent years, Saudi Arabia has been quietly deepening its defense and technological ties with China, a move that signals not just diversification, but transformation. The kingdom, traditionally dependent on Western systems, is now exploring a multi-directional strategy that includes advanced Chinese drones, surveillance systems, and even potential missile cooperation. This isn't just about buying new equipment, it's about gaining strategic independence. China, on the other hand, is looking for a long-term foothold in the Gulf, a region and once dominated by the US defense umbrella. So, what's really driving this partnership? Is it a response to shifting global politics, or a calculated move by both nations to secure future influence? Over the next few minutes, we'll break down exactly how China just changed Saudi Arabia's defense future, what this means for regional security, and why it could quietly rewrite the Middle East's power balance for the next decade. Stay tuned. The details ahead might surprise you. Saudi Arabia's defense story has always been tied to the West. For decades, the kingdom relied heavily on the United States and Europe for advanced weaponry, training, and security guarantees. But over the last decade, cracks began to appear in that long-standing alliance. Political conditions, export restrictions, and Washington's shifting priorities created uncertainty for Riyadh's defense planners. That's when Beijing entered the frame, not as a replacement, but as an alternative. China offered something the West often hesitated to give: flexibility, speed, and technology without political strings. From drones to missile components, Chinese industries were ready to cooperate under state-to-state agreements. Saudi Arabia saw this as an opportunity to diversify its defense sources and avoid over-dependence on a single partner. It's a move rooted in Vision 2030, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's plan to build a self-reliant and technologically advanced nation. By turning toward China, the Saudis are signaling a new era, one where defense partnerships are based on mutual benefit rather than political alignment. This shift doesn't mean Saudi Arabia is abandoning the US, but it does mean the balance of influence is starting to change. And that's exactly where the story gets interesting, because China's entry wasn't limited to trade or diplomacy. It came with hardware, training, and deep strategic intent. One of the earliest signs of this defense transformation came through the drone sector. When Western suppliers hesitated to provide armed UAVs, China stepped in with a ready solution: the Winglong series, built by Chengdu Aircraft Industry Group. Saudi Arabia became one of its largest international users. These drones proved reliable in both reconnaissance and combat roles, and in just a few years, they logged over 5,000 operational flight hours across various missions. For Riyadh, this wasn't just a procurement, it was a confidence boost. Chinese drones gave the kingdom a new level of autonomy and capability, enabling it to conduct surveillance and precision operations without relying on foreign pilots or maintenance teams. But more importantly, this opened doors for local production. Reports suggest that Chinese firms are helping Saudi industries assemble or even manufacture components domestically, aligning with Vision 2030's local defense industry goals. This drone cooperation also laid the foundation for broader military collaboration, including technology transfer, logistics, and joint training. For China, Saudi Arabia became a showcase for how its defense exports could compete globally. For Saudi Arabia, it was proof that non-Western suppliers could deliver results. And as drone success stories multiplied, the next phase of the partnership moved to the sea. In 2023, something remarkable happened. The navies of Saudi Arabia and China conducted their first joint naval exercise, codenamed Blue Sword. It was more than just a symbolic gesture. It marked the beginning of operational cooperation between two nations that had rarely trained together before. The drills focused on anti-piracy operations, maritime patrols, and search and rescue scenarios, but behind the scenes, they sent a powerful strategic message. China was expanding its presence in the Gulf of Aden and the Arabian Sea, areas critical to Saudi oil routes and global trade. For Saudi Arabia, training alongside China's rapidly modernizing Navy provided new tactical insights and a glimpse into Beijing's maritime strategy. For China, it was a chance to demonstrate that its Navy could operate effectively far from home, supporting allies and protecting global trade routes. These exercises were also a soft entry into deeper defense relations, potentially including joint shipbuilding projects, maritime intelligence sharing, and technology exchange in areas like radar and communication systems. While not replacing existing Western cooperation, the Saudi-China naval connection reflects a strategic diversification that few predicted a decade ago. It also hints at something bigger, a gradual shift in regional maritime influence, one that could reshape how the Gulf states see security partnerships in the years ahead. Beyond hardware, the true power of China's influence lies in technology sharing and industrial collaboration. Saudi Arabia is determined to develop its own defense manufacturing base, and China has positioned itself as a willing partner in that mission. From electronic warfare systems to command and control software, Chinese firms are offering expertise that complements Saudi investment. This cooperation aligns with Riyadh's Vision 2030 defense localization goals, aiming to produce at least 50% of military equipment domestically by the end of the decade. China's edge comes from its ability to deliver integrated solutions, combining hardware, software, and training under one umbrella. Unlike some Western contracts that limit local production, Chinese partnerships often include joint ventures and co-development opportunities. The result: Saudi engineers are gaining direct access to technical processes once locked behind export restrictions. Meanwhile, Chinese defense companies are gaining long-term contracts in one of the Middle East's wealthiest markets. This win-win equation is quietly building a new industrial bridge between the two nations, one that extends beyond defense into sectors like artificial intelligence, space cooperation, and cybersecurity. It's no longer just about buying equipment, it's about co-creating technology. And that kind of partnership doesn't fade easily. The next question: how does the rest of the world see this evolving alliance? As Saudi Arabia deepens its cooperation with China, reactions from the international community have been mixed. Western analysts see it as a natural diversification, while others warn it could signal a long-term shift in global alignments. The United States, traditionally Saudi Arabia's closest defense partner, is watching closely. Washington still provides advanced systems like the F-15 Patriot missiles and THA-80, but it's also aware that China's influence could eventually affect regional dynamics. European defense suppliers, meanwhile, are trying to maintain relevance through joint ventures and industrial collaborations, ensuring they aren't pushed out by Beijing's expanding presence. China, for its part, insists its relationship with Saudi Arabia is purely cooperative and not aimed at replacing any existing alliance. Beijing's official stance emphasizes non-interference and mutual benefit, which appeals to Gulf nations seeking flexibility without political pressure. In short, the world is adjusting to a new reality, one where China is no longer just a trade partner, but an emerging defense collaborator. This doesn't mean global alliances are collapsing. It simply shows that nations like Saudi Arabia are choosing strategic balance over dependency. And that balance, once established, could give Riyadh unprecedented leverage in future international negotiations. Defense ties don't develop in isolation. They grow on the foundation of economics and energy. China is Saudi Arabia's largest oil customer, purchasing over 1.7 million barrels per day. This economic interdependence provides a natural platform for deeper cooperation in other sectors, including defense. When trade flows reach such levels, political trust tends to follow. In the case of China and Saudi Arabia, both sides are integrating their economic and security strategies. For Beijing, securing steady energy supplies is vital for long-term stability. For Riyadh, diversifying its energy partners ensures resilience in an unpredictable market. Recent meetings have even discussed joint investment funds for defense and high-tech industries, signaling that the cooperation could extend into areas like aerospace, satellite technology, and advanced manufacturing. By blending economic and military collaboration, China and Saudi Arabia are creating a multidimensional relationship, one that transcends simple arms deals. It's about aligning national visions. China's Belt and Road Initiative meets Saudi Vision 2030. This economic security fusion gives both nations something they value most: strategic autonomy. While critics see risks in over-reliance on any external partner, Riyadh's approach seems calculated. Use global partnerships to empower local capability. And that philosophy is changing the rules of how defense diplomacy works in the 21st century. Despite rapid progress, the Saudi-China defense partnership isn't without challenges. One major limitation lies in technology integration. Saudi forces primarily operate Western-built systems which don't easily align with Chinese platforms due to differing architectures and standards. This creates logistical and maintenance complexities, requiring hybrid solutions that can connect both ecosystems. Another issue is geopolitical sensitivity. Riyadh must balance its U.S. alliance while engaging China, avoiding perceptions of a major strategic pivot. There's also the question of quality versus accessibility. While Chinese systems are improving rapidly, some Saudi analysts still prefer Western equipment for its proven performance record and interoperability with regional allies. Moreover, deeper cooperation with China could invite scrutiny from Western governments, especially on issues related to sensitive technologies or dual-use equipment. China, too, faces its own constraints. Its presence in the Gulf remains limited compared to the U.S., and it has yet to establish a permanent military footprint in the region. Yet, despite these obstacles, both nations continue to move forward carefully but consistently. The key lies in maintaining balance, expanding cooperation without crossing strategic red lines. And so far, both Riyadh and Beijing seem to be managing that balance with remarkable precision. The growing cooperation between China and Saudi Arabia is not happening in isolation. It's influencing the entire Middle East. Neighboring countries are closely watching how this partnership evolves. For Gulf states like the UAE and Qatar, it sets a precedent for exploring similar diversification paths. For Iran, it raises both opportunities and concerns, as Tehran also shares strategic links with Beijing. The region is gradually becoming a multi-polar defense environment where no single power dominates. This could actually enhance stability by reducing over-dependence on any one nation, fostering multiple security frameworks instead. But it also introduces competition. Who will become China's preferred partner in the region? At the same time, Israel and Western allies will be recalibrating their strategies to ensure that their technological edge remains intact. The ripple effect extends beyond the Gulf to Africa, South Asia, and even Europe, wherever China's Belt and Road intersects with security interests. Saudi Arabia's move, therefore, isn't just national, it's regional in consequence. It represents the broader realignment of 21st century defense diplomacy, where partnerships are pragmatic, technology-driven, and adaptive. And in that new order, Riyadh is positioning itself as a central player, one that balances East and West with equal precision. Looking ahead, the Saudi-China defense relationship is poised to expand even further. Expect deeper cooperation in artificial intelligence, cyber defense, satellite technology, and autonomous systems. These are the frontiers of modern security, and both nations want to lead. Saudi Arabia's strategy is clear: build a capable, self-reliant defense sector with multiple global partners. China, meanwhile, aims to cement its position as a reliable technology provider in the Middle East, gaining both influence and experience. Analysts predict that within the next 5 to 10 years, we could see joint ventures producing advanced drones, precision missiles, and AI-driven surveillance systems right inside the kingdom. This would not only boost local industry, but also reshape how global defense partnerships operate. However, Riyadh will likely maintain its balancing act, keeping U.S. and European ties strong while expanding its Eastern partnerships. It's not about choosing sides anymore. It's about choosing strength through diversity. China's role in Saudi Arabia's defense future is a symbol of this new global logic, a world where alliances are flexible, technology defines influence, and power is shared, not monopolized. And as this transformation continues, one thing is certain: the Middle East defense map will never look the same again. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to support the channel. Tell us in the comments, do you think China's growing role in Saudi Arabia's defense will strengthen regional stability or create new power rivalries? Your thoughts help shape the next episode. Stay tuned and see you in the next analysis.